The topic that now follows is on the formation of requests. I would like us to proceed and see how to form the request, which we call the Befehlsform. The Befehlsform, the imperative form. So, we're about to see how to form requests in German. And as you know very well, in German, we have Z, capital SIE, Z for the formal setup. And then there's the do for the informal setup. And then there's er, which is the plural of do. Yeah. All of them meaning you. All right. So let's go ahead. Now, this it is used in expressing a command. The DB form used in expressing a command, request, and also in giving directions. Because German has three pronoun forms of address, sie, du, and ihr, there are three distinct ways of forming commands or requests. Every imperative sentence is marked with an exclamation mark. So for them to know it's a request or a command, you have to mark with an exclamation mark. Okay. All right, then let's begin the first one. Let's see how to form the request in the Z form. In the Z form. So the command stroke request in the Z form is formed by beginning with a verb followed by Z. It is as simple as that. You begin with your verb, and then of course you know very well that verbs in the Z form, they always end in en or n, depending with the type of verb. Yeah? So it's simply begin with the verb followed with Z. Like in the example, you want to tell somebody, take soup. To take is nehmen, right? So you simply say, nehmen Sie die Suppe. Nehmen Sie die Suppe. Take the soup. Drink water. Trinken Sie das Wasser. Nehmen Sie die Suppe. Trinken Sie das Wasser. And then eat the bananas. Essen Sie die Bananen. So you're simply beginning with the verb and then Sie. Nehmen Sie, trinken Sie, essen Sie, spielen Sie, schlafen Sie, all those ones. Of course, you could choose to use bitte to sound more polite. Bitte nehmen Sie die Suppe. Bitte trinken Sie das Wasser. In that order. So as simple as that, verb and then Sie. Now there's this NB telling you, watch out for the verbs sein, haben, and the other reflexive verbs. So let's begin with sein. Now, from back then, you know that sein is one of the irregular verbs. Normally, when we conjugate sein, we normally say ich bin, du bist, er, sie, es ist, right? Sie sind. But in request, we will use sein as follows. Remember, sein means to be. So I want to tell somebody, be smart. In the Z form, we would say, seien Sie. Seien Sie. Don't say, sind Sie. No. Seien Sie. Maybe I want to tell somebody, be kind. Seien Sie nett. Be kind. Seien Sie nett. Don't be late. Seien Sie nicht spät. Seien Sie nicht spät. Be not late. It's like directly, be not late. Don't be late. Seien Sie nicht spät. Then be smart. Seien Sie schick. Seien Sie schick. So basically, when we use the verb sein, when forming request in the Z form, it would be seien Sie. Seien Sie nett. Seien Sie nicht spät. Seien Sie schick. Okay. And how about haben? Now haben simply becomes, just say, haben Sie. Haben Sie. Have. Like, have hope. Haben Sie Hoffnung. Have hope, yeah? Have no fear. Haben Sie keine Angst. So simply for haben, just say, haben Sie. Haben Sie. Bitte. Haben Sie Hoffnung. Bitte. Haben Sie keine Angst. Have no fear. And how about the modal verbs? Now, for the modal verbs, simply again, you just begin with the verb and then Z. The only difference is that we're now adding the sich, like in the example of sich rasieren, to shave. So you'd request somebody, rasieren Sie sich. You're saying the format is the same. We begin with the verb and then Sie. Rasieren Sie sich. Rasieren Sie sich, shave. Or setzen Sie sich. Setzen Sie sich, sit down. Okay? So From all the examples, still you're seeing the one commonality, but in the Z form, what we do is you begin with the verb and then you follow with the Z. Anything else comes after. Don't forget to mark with an exclamation mark. All right? And that is basically how we get to form a request in the Z form. Just like that. That is how you form a request in the Z form. Now look at this next point, not part of Z, telling you like this. For an impersonal command given to the public at large, e.g., public signs, recipes, etc., the pronoun is removed. The pronoun is removed, e.g. So this one mostly applies for the public signs, right? So in this case, because it's impersonal, they mostly not include personal pronoun. Like in the example, bitte nicht rauchen. Bitte nicht rauchen, no smoking. And then dogs prohibited. Hunde verboten. Hunde verboten. And then cut the chicken into small pieces. This one could be applying in a recipe. Cut the chicken into small pieces. Das Hähnchen in kleinen Stücken schneiden. Das Hähnchen in kleinen Stücken schneiden. Cut the chicken into small pieces. And then, hands up. The police find you and they tell you, hands up. Hands up. It sounds a bit awkward, yeah? Hände hoch. Hände hoch. Hands up. Hände hoch. And then you're crying for help. Help! 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 Look at how you say it. Hilfe! 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 Yeah, H-A. Hilfe! Okay? Yes, that's how you cry for help in German. So we've now seen how to form the request in Z form. Let's now proceed and see how to form the request in the do form. So in the do form, the command stroke request is formed by beginning with the verb stem. Kindly note that. You begin with the verb stem. This is mostly for regular verbs. Yeah? Verb stem. As you know very well, the verb stem is that part of a verb that remains after you remove its ending en. Like kommen, komm, tanzen, tanz, spielen, spiel. So those are the verb stems. Okay, verb stems. So they're telling you that in the do form, the command stroke request is formed by beginning with the verb stem and excluding the pronoun do. So as we know very well, in the do form, when we conjugate, we normally have st, right? Du kommst. So you simply remove the do and you remove the st, I remain with komm. Okay? Like in the example, wash the hands. Wash the hands. Normally we would have said, du wäschst die Hände, right? Sentence, you are washing the hands. Du wäschst die Hände. So you've been told, remove the do, remove the st, and also remove the umlaut. Now I remain with wasch die Hände. Wasch die Hände. That is the request in the do form. Wash the hands. Wasch die Hände. So I saying that in the do form, you begin with the verb stem. Waschen, wasch. Okay? Another example is come on Monday. Kommen simply means komm am Montag. You can see I'm only remaining with the verb stem. Wasch die Hände, komm am Montag. Bring the money, bring das Geld. Drink water, trink das Wasser. Okay? And then buy a car, kauf ein Auto. Kauf ein Auto. So basically, that's how you form the question in the do form. Don't forget to put your exclamation mark. In the do form, what we do is we're simply remaining with the verb stem. Okay, be watchful for the irregular verbs which at times change some vowels within the verb stem. Now, here be careful with the irregular ones. They're those which tend to change completely vowels within the verb stem. Some examples here include the verb sprechen. So normally sprechen, if I conjugate in the do form, is normally du sprichst with the I. Sprechen, but du sprichst. So if you remove the do and then you remove the st, you remain with sprech, speak, sprech. So if I want to request somebody, don't speak. Sprech nicht. Sprech nicht, don't speak. Now, another one is eat the bananas. Eat the bananas. So, eat, if I normally it's Essen. If you conjugate it in the do form, is du isst die Bananen. Du isst die Bananen, right? So, if you remove the do and then you remove, in this case, we only remove the T. I remain with is. So, it becomes is die Bananen. Is die Bananen. Eat the bananas. You can see what's happening here. Is die Bananen. Eat the bananas. Another one is nehmen, to take. Nehmen, to take. Normally it is du nimmst. Du nimmst. So if I remove the do and the st, I remain with nimm. So nimm die Tasche. Take the bag. Take the bag. Okay, next point. When forming request in the do form using haben and sein, they are used as follows. So when you're using haben and sein in the do form, they are used as follows. Let's begin with sein. Now, sein, again, we mentioned it's irregular. Normally, we would have said, ich bin, du bist. But for the request, we don't use the bist. Instead, it becomes sei. So for the request, sein under do becomes sei, S-E-I, which means be. Like, be smart, sei schick. So you saw in the Z, it is seien sie. But in do is sei. Sei schick, be smart. Sei nett, be kind. Sei pünktlich, be punctual. Okay? Sei. The other one is haben. Now in the Z, it is haben sie. But in do is hab, H-A-B, hab. Like in the example, have the money, hab das Geld. Don't forget to mark with an exclamation mark. Have the money, hab das Geld. Have no fear, hab keine Angst. Hab keine Angst. And then I have hope, hab Hoffnung. Okay? Hab das Geld, hab keine Angst, and hab Hoffnung. Now, lastly, when using reflexive verbs in the do form, we use dich or dir. Remember now for the reflexive verbs again, you'll be using specifically dich or even dir. Like shave, rasier dich, setz dich, and putz dir die Zähne, brush your teeth. So basically, that is how you get to form the request in the do form. I'd like us to see the last form, which is the ear form. You remember ear form is the plural of do. Okay? It also means you. Now, in the ear form, we begin with a verb ending with a T. Remember, the verb ends with a T. So we begin with a verb ending with a T. The pronoun ear is not part of the command stroke request. The pronoun ear is not part of the command or request. So we remove the ear out. Like in the example, to take, normally nehmen, right? If you were to conjugate it in the ear form, it becomes ear nehmt. Ear nehmt. So you've been told you remove the ear. So you only remain with nehmt. Now it becomes nehmt die Suppe. Nehmt die Suppe. Take the soup. Another one is drink water. Becomes tränkt. So you can see mostly when verbs are conjugated in the ear form, they end in T. Tränkt das Wasser. Drink water. Then eat the bananas. Esst die Bananen. Esst esst die Bananen. Eat the bananas. Wascht die Hände. Wash the hands. Wascht die Hände. And then I have sprecht laut. Speak loudly. Now, be watchful again of the verbs sein, haben, and reflexive verbs. So, for the verb sein, in the ear form when forming request, it becomes seid. S-E-I-D. Seid. Like, be smart. Remember, this ear is used when you're commanding many people, yeah? Seid schick. Be smart. Seid schick. Be punctual. Seid pünktlich. Seid pünktlich. and then be kind. Seid nett. Seid nett. Okay? And then for haben becomes habt. Like habt keine Angst. Have no fear. Habt Hoffnung. Have hope. Yeah? Habt. Habt keine Angst. Habt Hoffnung. etc. And then with the reflexive verbs, we use euch in ear form. Like sich rasieren now becomes rasiert euch, shave. Setzt euch, sit down, and kämmt euch die Haare, comb your hair. Okay? So you've now seen how to form the request in the Sie, in the do, and in the ear form. Remember? Let's now have quickly. We're going to pick last example from an exercise to see it in the Sie, in the do, and in the ear form. The example order from the exercise tells you like this. Form imperative sentences in the Sie, do, and the ear forms. Look at number 1. Has been done for us. Eine Schokolade essen. So remember, we'll be forming the request in the Sie, in the do, and in the ear form. So in the example says like this. Eine Schokolade essen. To eat chocolate. So that would say, eat the chocolate in the Sie form, in the do form, and ear form. So in the Sie form, I would simply say, essen Sie. Essen Sie eine Schokolade. Kindly ensure that the Sie is always in capital. So, essen Sie eine Schokolade. Eat a chocolate. And then in the do form, iss eine Schokolade. Iss eine Schokolade. And then in the ear form, esst eine Schokolade. So, essen Sie eine Schokolade. Iss eine Schokolade. And then esst eine Schokolade. The other one is schreiben, to write. Schreiben. So in the Sie form, we'd say, schreiben Sie. Don't forget to mark with an exclamation mark. Schreiben Sie. And then they do schreib. And then ear, schreibt. Schreiben Sie. Schreib. Schreibt. So I'd like you to pause here. Attempt the other one. Number 3 to 10. Go ahead. Okay, let's mark now together. So to buy a book, ein Buch kaufen, I would say, kaufen Sie ein Buch. Kaufen Sie ein Buch, exclamation mark, in the do form. Kauf ein Buch. And then in the ear form, kauft ein Buch. Kaufen Sie. Kauf. Kauft. All right, let's now see number 4. Eine Zeitung lesen. So it becomes, lesen Sie eine Zeitung. Please ensure that you're always marking with an exclamation mark, and that Z is capital. So, lesen Sie eine Zeitung. Lies eine Zeitung. And then, lässt eine Zeitung. Lässt eine Zeitung. Number 5. Kommen Sie. Komm. Kommt. Number 6. Essen Sie ein Bonbon. Essen Sie ein Bonbon. And then, iss ein Bonbon. Then lastly, esst ein Bonbon. Number 7 becomes, lachen Sie. Laugh. Lachen Sie. Then, lach. And then, lacht. Lachen Sie. Lach. Lacht. 8 is, lächeln Sie. Lächeln Sie. And then, lächel. Then lächelt. Number 9 was an example of a separable verb. Einkaufen, to shop. So, because it's separable, you have to remove the ein and put it at the end. So you say, kaufen Sie ein. Kaufen Sie ein. And then, kauf ein. Kauft ein. Kaufen Sie ein. Kauf ein. And then, kauft ein. Lastly is hören, to hear. Hören Sie. Hör. And then, hot. So you've seen from the examples given above that we have followed the same pattern. Sie form, verb, and then Sie. Do form, verb stem, and then ear form, verb with an ending T. And basically, that is how you get to form requests in the Sie, in the do, and in the ear. I'd like you to go ahead and form as many examples as you possibly can. Come on Monday. Kommen Sie am Montag. Komm am Montag. Kommt am Montag. Play football. Spielen Sie Fußball. Spiel Fußball. Spielt Fußball. Okay, let's just take two more examples with the reflexive verb, like this one here, which says sich waschen, to bathe. Sich waschen, to bathe. So you'd say waschen Sie sich. Yeah, waschen Sie sich. In the new form, wasch dich. Wasch dich. And then in the ear form, wascht euch. Wascht euch. Okay, so kindly go ahead and form as many other examples as possible, and then this will be bringing you to the very end of the topic of forming requests. This one is also commonly tested in your part 3 of your A1 Sprechen. So with that said and done, let me say, das ist alles für heute. Tschüss, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.